Hello, my name is Jasper Kachku and I'm a knowledge entrepreneur. For a couple of years now, the global economy is changing. We're gradually moving away from just in Africa where you have agriculture and natural resources as the major source of income to diversification. And one of those major diversification is the idea of digital economy. In the Western world, digital economy has become a huge source of income, but in Africa, that has been a challenge. So the issue for us in Africa is about building the infrastructure that helps us drive the kind of digital economy that we need or we want. And part of those infrastructure is the issues about laying the right kind of pipelines and infrastructure and metro fibers that helps us drive access to internet across most cities and communities in Africa. So one of the key principles or key issues of how we can make it happen is the issues about right of way. Right of way is like giving access to states or to institutions or to private sectors access to lay fibers across the roads, across every communities, across the rural and urban areas in Africa. In the southeast Nigeria, for instance, the issue about right of way has become a major challenge for us. And why is it like that? We recognize the fact that states like Imo State and Anambra have been able to waive or reduce the cost of right of way across their own states. But we still have Enugu, we still have Abia, and we still have Ebonyi states still unable to do that. And why are we advocating for this? One of the major reasons why we're advocating for it is that just like the same way you have the oil industry that lay their pipes where they transmit oil from one community and from one state to the other, that is the same way we need to lay the pipes, the metro fibers, the fibers that helps both the metro companies and also the telecom companies to be able to drive this internet access to both rural and urban communities. And that's the only way we can be able to reduce the digital divide that we already have ongoing. So we'll give you instances. COVID-19 has reduced everybody to digital economy. Work settings, workplaces, industries are gradually moving from from normal work of doing analog to digital work. So most people are migrated to remote working. Now, education has started across the southeast of Nigeria. Most people who are from well-to-do families are able to access internet. Most people who live in the urban areas are able to access internet, and their children have started going to school online. But across the rural areas, it's not happening. Why is it not happening? Access to internet has become a challenge. Why is it not happening? There are no technical capacities and skills of our schools and teachers to be able to deliver the kind of services that gives access to education to our children. So the question is, issues around digital age and digital skills and digital requirements and facilities have become human rights. Human right because what it gives access to is also a human right issues. Education is a human right. Access to products and services is a human right. So even if we leave education and let's say let's take the e-commerce industry for instance, and I will cite an example. There used to be an industry, a company in Enugu that used to type all the documents that almost every city in Enugu, including schools and institutions, used to work with. But as at the time we got to 2004, that company folded. And what folded that company was because the world has moved from the use of typewriter to digital facilities. That is the way we have come to a new age. The world has also moved again. We are no longer going to be doing things in analog way. We are going to do things based on internet. So if you look at markets in Ogbete, in New Haven, and everywhere you go to across Enugu State, for instance, there are shops everywhere. And those shops are paying high operational costs to be able to drive and sell their products. And they reach few people. But there are shops like Alibaba, for instance, that is internet based and he's one of the richest people on earth. Why? Because he has built shops online and he has given people access to those shops and they sell their product and they reach wider market and they reach global community. It is far better for them. How can you then compare that with somebody who has a shop in Ogbete that COVID-19 has closed down their shop for over a period of 1 or 2 months and they still have to pay fees, they still have to pay stores, they still have to pay operational costs for running those stores, but they have not sold any product. But whether we like it or not, within the period of COVID-19, people have been selling online. People own shops online, they have been selling. So what is the comparison between our brothers who own those local shops and those who own the shops online? The comparison is that the ones who are online has moved on and they're making more money and they have access to more people and their products are advertised. So they have more access to things that makes the economy work for them, regardless of whether the environment is working, regardless of whether we have a lockdown or there are restrictions that reduces issues around gatherings and stuff like that. But for us, we have our brothers in Ogbete market, and I give you 5-10 years from now what is going to happen to them if the digital economy begins to happen this way. Our young people are growing. We have come to a point where SMEs need to move digital. What kind of digital economy are they going to be driving? They have to look into content generation. They have to move into digital product that has to do content development. And how are they going to do that? How will Emeka, how would Sunday, how would John, who lives in Isoka, who lives in Udi, who lives in Ogu, be able to access internet, to be able to feel like he's part of a global community, regardless of where he finds himself? The only way it can happen is that he has access to internet. And for him to have access to internet, government have a role to play. One of those major roles is to reduce the fees that we have on right of way. The federal government has made it 145 naira per fiber meter. which is very important. Some states, for instance, like Anambra State, have waived it to zero. We respect and recognize, and we wish that more states will not just reduce, but reduce it to zero. And that's the only way they can drive a digital economy. And for us, we also respect the fact that Anambra State has gone ahead not just to waive the fees, but they have also initiated an urban regeneration program that is designed to be able to drive digital economy. So one thing is to reduce the road fee, put it right of way, but another thing is to build a framework that helps us get to where we are going. So we need a framework. We need the Southeast Governors Forum. We need the Southeast State Governors to begin to build a framework, ministries, commissioners, people who understand this context, who are going to develop the strategy, the understanding, the design that will help us be able to drive this digital economy across the entire Southeast. And finally, very importantly, for us to reduce rural-urban divide, one of the ways we can do it in this generation is to make sure that people in the rural area have access to internet. And that's why we have to reduce road fee. Because what reducing road fee does is that it attracts this company to be able to drive this infrastructure down to rural areas, whether they are people or not. And that way people can migrate to those kind of environments. We can't get our people to stay in the Southeast. We can't get our people to migrate back to Southeast. We can't get our people to run business in the Southeast if they can't have access to global community. And that is what digital economy, that is what access to fiber internet gives to them. Thank you very much.